Harrison Ford once earned just $2,500 for a role. Years later, he'd pull in $65 million for a single film. From broke carpenter to one of Hollywood's highest-paid stars, Ford's career has been a wild ride. Billion-dollar blockbusters, massive flops, and paychecks that shattered records. We're breaking down every role, every salary, and every box office hit or disaster, from the movies that nearly ended his career to the ones that made him unstoppable. In American Graffiti, Harrison Ford pocketed just $2,500. Nobody had a clue this hot rod flick would pull in $115 million and quietly launch a Hollywood legend. Next, he did The Conversation for a measly $2,000. Still hustling in the background, just another supporting face, racking up credits while bills piled up. But everything changed with Star Wars: A New Hope. Ford almost skipped the audition. Just another carpenter reading lines. $10,000 later, he was Han Solo, and the film exploded to $775 million. Suddenly, he was on every studio's radar. Heroes kept him moving. $15,000 for a romantic drama that quietly made $33.5 million. The roles were getting bigger, but the paychecks, not quite a blockbuster yet. Force 10 from Navarone brought his first real payday, $200,000. The film itself floundered with $7.2 million, but Ford had arrived. Hollywood finally noticed. Here's where things started shifting. Hanover Street paid him $150,000, but bombed at $3 million. Then a quick cameo in Apocalypse Now for $15,000. Hardly headline money, but sharing scenes with Brando and Sheen gave Ford major clout. He teamed up with Gene Wilder for The Frisco Kid. Ford took $150,000. The movie squeaked out $9.3 million. Nothing special, but his momentum didn't stop. Then came the game changer, The Empire Strikes Back. Ford's salary jumped to $1.5 million, and the film raked in $538 million. Han Solo was a global icon, and Ford was finally getting paid like it. He didn't slow down. In Raiders of the Lost Ark, Ford became Indiana Jones. $5.9 million in the bank, $389 million at the box office, and a new franchise was born. Ford doubled down with Blade Runner, pocketing $1.6 million. At the time, the $28 million sci-fi noir landed soft, just $41.7 million grossed. Critics were confused, but decades later, it became a cult classic. He snapped right back into the blockbuster lane with Return of the Jedi. The salary this time? $1.7 million. The payoff? A monstrous $475 million at the box office. Han Solo was untouchable. Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom pushed things darker and pushed Ford's paycheck to $4.5 million. It was another smash. $333 million pulled in. Indie mania at its peak. Switching gears, Witness gave him $1.5 million and an Oscar nod. For a $12 million crime drama, $68.7 million at the box office proved Ford could carry any genre. But not every gamble paid off. The Mosquito Coast handed him $4.5 million, but the $25 million drama fizzled with just $14.3 million. Critical praise, commercial flop. He tried to bounce back with Frantic, a Paris thriller that paid him $6 million. But the $20 million production failed to recoup, grossing just $17.6 million. Still, Ford kept stacking wins. In Working Girl, he made $3 million, and the film brought in $103 million, proving he wasn't just the action guy. He picked up the whip again for Indiana Jones and The Last Crusade. Another $4.9 million paycheck, and this time the franchise pulled in $474 million. Indy still had the magic. Then came a sharp legal turn with Presumed Innocent. Ford scored $12.5 million, and the $20 million courtroom drama made a stunning $221 million. Serious money for a slow-burn thriller. But Regarding Henry was more of a soft landing. Ford made $12 million, and while the film did fine $43 million on a $25 million budget, it was the last quiet chapter before his 90s money run. In Patriot Games, Ford pulled $9 million as Jack Ryan, and the $45 million film hit $178 million, a clear win. The Fugitive took things higher. $20 million payday, $368 million box office. Pure 90s blockbuster energy, Clear and Present Danger scored him $10 million. Another $215 million hit. Ford could do no wrong. Sabrina brought in $10 million, but the $58 million remake barely made $53.7 million. Rare stumble. The Devil's Own paid $20 million. Ford and Pitt, $140 million worldwide. Solid, not spectacular. He soared again with Air Force One, $22 million salary, $315 million box office, and pure presidential action. 6 days, 7 nights handed him $20 million for a tropical adventure that grossed $164 million. Random Hearts paid the same, $20 million, but only brought in $74.6 million. Audiences just weren't buying. And then came What Lies Beneath. Ford scored $20 million, and the $100 million thriller hit $291 million. Major box office rebound. K-19. The Widowmaker paid Ford $25 million, but the $100 million sub-drama sank with $65.7 million. Big loss. Hollywood Homicide gave him $20 million, but it flopped too. $75 million budget, just $51.1 million back. Firewall paid out $15 million. The $50 million thriller made $82 million. Respectable, not remarkable. He scored big for Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. $65 million salary, $786 million worldwide. Box office gold, no question. Crossing Over was a bomb, $10 million payday, but just $3.7 million grossed. Extraordinary Measures gave him $5.5 million, but the $31 million drama barely hit $15.4 million. Another flop. Morning Glory paid $12.5 million. The $40 million comedy managed $60 million, enough to call it a win. Cowboys and Aliens gave Ford $10 million. With a $163 million budget, the film made $174 million, a near miss for a supposed blockbuster. 42 paid $10 million. The $40 million baseball drama scored $97.5 million, a nice comeback. Paranoia paid $6 million, but the $35 million thriller fizzled out at $17 million. Ender's Game brought in $15 million. With a $110 million budget, it made $125.5 million. Barely cleared the bar. The Expendables 3 was a cameo. $1 million salary, but $214.7 million global box office. Franchise power. The Age of Adeline gave him $6 million. The $25 million romance grossed $65.7 million. Quiet win. Star Wars: The Force Awakens. Ford's $25 million paycheck, $2.07 billion worldwide. The ultimate comeback. Blade Runner 2049 paid $15 million. $150 million budget. $276.6 million grossed. Critically loved, financially solid. The Secret Life of Pets. 2 netted $1 million. The animated sequel made $431 million. Easy money. The Call of the Wild gave him $11 million. The $135 million adventure flopped with $111 million. Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny was a late career flex. $45 million paycheck, $383.9 million grossed. And that's the wild ride. Career highs, flops, and some of the biggest paychecks in movie history. Which Ford era or movie surprised you most? Let's hear it in the comments.